How's it going, everybody, and welcome back to the Muv-Luv that never ends. It's actually Muv-Luv Mondays. Welcome again. So it's interesting that I say that, but like that's really the truth. We've been blessed with Muv-Luv. What's interesting is that I just took a quick peek because I was a little curious, and I realized that we're actually a few weeks away from our 8th year anniversary of me starting Muv-Luv for the first time. Discovered it really randomly. It wasn't even like recommended to me. I simply saw that the Kickstarter had just published Muv-Luv onto Steam, and they were looking for content creators to potentially, review it or whatever. And I was a tiny creator. I'm still a small creator, but like I was like, I think 100 subs type of creator at the time. And I looked at it. The art looked pretty. I'd been wanting a slice of life, and I saw, and it was all extra because they weren't trying to spoil. They were trying not to spoil anything. So I saw it. Randomly just said, you know what, I'm gonna buy this and try it out. And here we are 8 years later, and had pretty much an uninterrupted streak of Muv-Luv. I can't remember if I ended up taking a break to do a different series for at least a little bit. There might have been something along the way that interrupted Muv-Luv, but I know for a fact that if that ever happened, it was not for long. And essentially, as long as there's been content, I've been covering it to the point where it's become like the Muv-Luv Monday thing. So hi, welcome. If you're new here somehow, welcome to the show. I have so much Muv-Luv backlog. Essentially, at this point, with this title, The Imperial Capital Burns, which is the most recent translation that's been made, I have played every official translation of Muv-Luv currently available. I don't think there's a single thing I've missed. I guess I technically haven't read the manga, or I haven't showcased the codex. I haven't actually looked at the codex because I know it might have spoilers in it for games that I knew were going to come out and might come out later. There are a few I'm hoping will still get translated, and a new release, the sequel to The Day After, that I hope that we get to see soon. But yeah, this is a prequel to the series I just concluded, which is kind of sad. I almost wish I'd had an excuse to not play Total Eclipse, because if I'd known this was going to be hot on the heels of the translation, I probably would have wanted to play this one first, even though I'm sure this one came out after, like publication-wise. Chronologically, it might have been fun to do this one first and then jumped into Total Eclipse, but yeah, that's not what we're doing. We're here now. So, in case you've missed it, this is part of the Muv-Luv Alternative, which is, the canon storyline that leads up to the events that eventually begins the best case scenario against the Beta War, Beta invasion, aliens from another world that have come and are trying to strip mine the planet and kill everybody that's on it. It's pretty brutal. Very, very fun. If you somehow found this and you've never played Muv-Luv or seen the story before, maybe try out a couple episodes, but frankly, you should play these games on your own, and I don't really think that this is a good place to start. I'd really probably start with the core set, Muv-Luv Extra, then Unlimited, then Alternative. Everything else flows into it, and a lot of these games could stand on their own. Like, they're fantastic, and I think you could enjoy it from beginning to end without any of the context of the other series, but it is intended to be a supplement. So if you found this randomly, I'd love having you here. I'd love having you watch this, but don't spoil yourself too much if you can help it. Really should check out Muv-Luv Extra, Unlimited, and Alternative first. And frankly, this series is pretty legendary. I've been blown away. Even the side material has literally been some of the best fiction I've ever read, so give it a shot, give it a try. Other than that, yeah, this is just the kind of essentially the origin story and the training arc for Yui and her kind of like history. And I know that if you watched the Total Eclipse anime, because way back in the day, I watched like the beginning of that anime because I was told that I should watch the first 2 episodes just for like the animation about the Beta War. I still also would recommend that as well, and that's the only thing I saw. Apparently, that's what this visual novel is going to cover, but obviously this is going to be more content than that. So I feel like there's not much else we can say. We can just jump right in. So without further ado, Muv-Luv Monday's off again. I promise we'll do something that's not Muv-Luv pretty soon. Like I said, I've kind of caught up with everything, and so unless they pull a rabbit out of their hat and translate and publish something on Steam without warning in the next like few months, there's a good chance we'll be done, because I think this is also a shorter game. Like, I don't think it's short. I imagine it's probably still like a 20-hour experience, but I don't think it's what a typical Muv-Luv full story is, which is like 50 to 100 hours. So I'm not too sure. We'll see. Could be completely wrong about that. Again, I avoid spoilers like the plague, so I have no idea what to expect with this at all. So yeah, let's just jump right in, shall we? Get started. I'm curious to see where it drops us in. Like, where is it gonna choose to start? Huh. Oh, interesting. I actually have a guess of where this is. This looks like it might be in Alaska. It might not be. It just looks like downtown. But what if it started right after the terrorist attack in the Alaska base? Because that's when she has the incident where she has her brush with death, and she reflected in her mind about her history. I wonder if that's where they're gonna actually pick this up. It looks like it. Hey, Yui. That's a clever way to do it. Wow, look at that. And the text is different too. Again. I got a test the buttons. Okay, that makes the text disappear. Good. Then we have this, this, and this. I don't know what this one is. Okay, auto read. That's what that is. Okay. Don't beat yourself up, Yui. Come on, you couldn't stop this. There was all the things were working against you. But it is crappy to see this public street where there literally was full of civilians, and to see it full of the corpses of Beta. Old squad mates. And those look like training suits. I've never seen those enclosed helmets before. Yamashiro. She looks like a ice princess. I remember that. I did remember that scene. Not the scene, the picture that was in the core game. Oh, there's the total eclipse. I was actually wondering too, like, are we gonna see anyone else? Like, we saw flashes of them, but like, are we gonna have a point in this recreation, this story, where Yuya is gonna suddenly pop up, right? Muv-Luv, alternative total eclipse.
宇宙は死が支配する絶望の荒野などではなく、地球生命は孤独ではなかった。
Yeah.
1958
Life
年、
exists,
ア
and
メリ
it's
カ
here
の
to
無
eat
人火
us.
星探査計画バイキングは地表面に生息する数種の大型歩行生命体を発見した。数億キロメートルの距離を経てもたらされたその方は科学者たちを狂気させると同時に、彼らの雇用者には大いなる希望を、そして出資者たちには莫大な富の予兆を授けた。その存在を知る人々の多くは火星生命に対し、同じく神の非創造物という宗教的な慈しみ、あるいは同胞的な信仰の念
Imagine a
を
Mars mission fueled in the 60s
火
by
星
the
有人
fervor
探
of
査と
life.
ファーストコンタクトの夢に熱狂した。1967年、ファーストコンタクトは惨劇となった。
Yeah. No, did not go well.
突如として月のサクロボスコクレーターに現れた火星起源種は、国際高級月面基地プラトー1に所属する地質調査隊を
Oh my
一
gosh.
人残らず食い殺した。サクロボスコ事件と呼ばれるこの惨事以降、彼らは無慈悲な進撃を続け、月面におけるその半島を思うがままに
It must have been so easy too.
国連故障ベータ、人類に敵対的な異星起源種と命名されたその途中生命体は、火星、宇宙空間、月面という敵対的環境変化をものともしない強靭な生命力と
Part of what makes them so terrifying is how goofy they kind of look at first, and then the horror of what they actually
生物をのみで
are.
立ち向かう人類の抵抗を ことごとく退けて月を席巻した。そして人々は理解した。人類もまた等しく生命の摂理に支配される存在に過ぎないというシンプルな現実を。1973年、ベータはついに地球侵攻を開始。
1973.
ユーラシア大陸中央部中華人民共和国新疆ウイグル自治区へ航空ユニットを着陸させた。
Okay, so it was China. I thought it was Pakistan,
中
but
国
it
政
technically
府は
was in
それを
China.
脅威と認識しなかった。
They didn't
国
consider
際
it a
条約によっ
threat.
て搬入兵器を厳しく制限されていた月とは異なり、地球
Oh,
の地上戦においては
that makes
航
sense.
空兵器を
They
含む
assumed everything
膨
like
大な
nukes
戦
would
力を
save
投
us.
入できる。中国政府は優勢に推移する戦況を背景に多国籍軍の派遣を誇示、異星起源種サンプルの独占を図った。ところがその十数日後、
Lasers.
状況は一変する。強力な生体発信レーザー機関を有する新種レーザー属種の出現によって航空兵器が完全に無力化されると、物量に抗しきれず戦線は瓦解。
They could shoot down missiles, airplanes, anything that even
核
approached the
による焦土
horizon.
戦術も効果なく、中央アジアは瞬く間にベータの手に落ちた。1974年、カナダのアサバスカに第2の降下ユニットが到着。ベータによる北米大陸侵攻が開始された。アメリカとカナダは中国の教訓を生かし、降下ユニットの着陸直後、ベータ固体軍の物量展開前に
They like
集中的な
destroyed
核攻撃を
Canada
加え、
to
侵攻
prevent
の
the
阻止
Beta
に
from
成功。
invading the North American continent, and it was the
だが
right
その代
choice.
償は大きく、カナダ国土の 30% が半永久的な放射能汚染地帯と化した。以来、ベータ大戦と呼ばれる20数年の戦いにおいて、ユーラシア大陸の各国軍は後退と敗走を重ねた。ユーラシア大陸の 90% を占めるベータ支配域は、森林、動植物から土壌のバクテリアに至
Oh,
るまで
I
自
didn't
然
realize
環
they
境
even
が
were
根こそ
killing
ぎ
the
破壊され
bacteria. That's insane.
ハイブと呼ばれる巨大な巣以外には何も存在しない平野にならされてしまった。ベータとの戦いにかかっているのは人の存亡ではなく、地球起源生命の総絶滅なのだ。その現実を目の当たりにした人類は、欧州の陥落を機にようやく国連のもとに戦力を結集、各国軍の司令系統を再編し、世界規模の統合運用を開始する。だが人類の対ベータ基本戦略は、開出戦力の補充を主とする体制の立て直しとその時間を稼ぐため、失地回復と敵殲滅から
All
ユーラシア封じ
expositional,
込め
but
に
it's really good to
大きく
reference.
舵を
And we haven't had a detailed history in a
莫大な
while.
犠牲の対価として国連の対ベータ総力戦研究計画が得た生態調査データに加え、航空兵力を代替するためアメリカが開発した新
Oh,
概
look
念
at
兵
those
器
early
戦
TSFs.
術歩行戦闘機の量産と実戦投入によって人類はかろうじてベータの進行を遅滞さ
Those were like death machines, though. They were just, you were gonna die.
1997年東ア
1997.
ジアの最前線はじりじりと朝鮮半島を南下し続け、滅びの影は日本帝国に迫っている。
So up till this point, Japan had been able to repel all invasion forces, and even were protecting Korea. But it really takes a turn here. Oh, here's the intro. Bye. Ooh, that was a good intro. Very, very well done. Music's fantastic. The animation quality is top notch. It really feels like a modern visual novel. I mean, look at those. Look at the sakura petals. That's beautiful. That's me. This is gonna be a treat. This is gonna be genuinely a treat. I wonder where this is. This looks amazing. And I believe this is our hero, Yui. Wow. It's like, wow, it's like partial animated. That's crazy. It's just a full kinetic novel at this point. It is Yui. $1997, huh? It's weird to think. I agree. Like, it's hard to imagine you're at war because it's like, I'm imagining like, I was really young, but like being like, this is all something that's like parallel to like most of our lives. Though there's probably a good number of people who are all watching here right now who weren't alive during the time this is supposedly happening. Kind of idea, the parallel world. That's crazy. What the fetch am I looking at? Oh, this is cool. Like I said, a kinetic novel, but it looks like it's a high quality one. Kyoto, the 1,000-year capital of the Japanese Empire and the hometown I hold so dearly in my heart. And the battleships in the harbor. That's cool. So, I didn't realize Kyoto had a harbor, but it makes sense. Where ancient tradition, the fruits of modernity coexist in perfect harmony, a place that defies the existence of the Imperial nation. Because in this timeline, I think they reverted it back to the official capital. Like, it wasn't Tokyo. They put it back in Kyoto when it became like imperialized during the crisis. But not all is well. Ugh, there they are. There they are. Even now, the front lines of a cruel war creep ever closer to our borders. Without fail, the daily news is saturated with information about the war across the Eurasian continent. Ill tidings of death and devastation fill the airwaves, carrying harrowing tales of countless refugees and displaced persons. I have no doubt the existential threat may soon reach the Empire. However, it seems not many share my concern. The masses in the peaceful city would rather turn a blind eye to the looming crisis. So they've crossed the 38 parallel. North Korea is just gone. Like, I mean, in this world, I wonder if North and South Korea really were that much, because like, so we didn't detect the beta until the 60s really, and that's kind of like where it diverged. And up until that point, most key events I think were about the same. I think someone said though that one of the differences in this parallel world was that the first nukes weren't dropped in Japan, but they were dropped in Germany. Like, that was one of the things that makes this world different than ours, but I'm not sure about that. Regardless though, North Korea is just gone. Following the beta invasion, Japan, which provides extensive support for the far eastern front in Eurasia, has grown into one of the world's most prosperous economies. With a bloody struggle like the likes of which mankind's never seen rages all over the earth, our motherland remains largely at peace. For now. Morning comes and nothing whatsoever changes from the day before. We go about our daily lives as usual without the need to risk life or limb. The people's spirits are high. They live in their lives detached from the horrors of war unfolding before their eyes, not realizing it will soon reach our doorstep. For many of our countrymen, the battle against the beta exists solely within the confines of a TV screen. Yeah. It's funny because like this concept and the troubles that come with it is also what plagues America in the more modern timeline. Born from a samurai house, a part of the royal guard, dark days like these, people like us must stand tall and muster unwavering strength. We must become surface pilots post-haste so that we can protect His Majesty and the Emperor and His Highness the Shogun. As well as the people of Japan, this land we hold dear with our own lives if need be. Much is demanded of me in particular. As the sole heir of House Takamura, a noble lineage of weaponsmiths and a Fudai Daimyo, a clan whose ancestors supported Tokugawa Ieyasu. Okay, I'm probably not saying that right, but I'm trying. Before the Battle of Sekigahara. As a member of one of the select houses granted the honor of entering the shogun's residence, I must strive to maintain our family's reputation and serve as an example for others of similar standing. Oh. Hello. Oh, there they are. So I think this is our training squad, I'm guessing, because they're all the characters that she said the names of.
なんだユイ、また教本読んでたの？別にちょっと時間があったから暇つぶしに見ていただけだよ。
It's weird hearing like a young version of Yui. Like, they chose a voice that is pretty different.
教本なんて暇つぶしでも見たくないわ。ほんと偉いよ。さすが我らの小隊長殿。やだな、アキ。からかわないでよ。いやいや、待ち合わせはいつも早く来るし、価格で押し付けられる面倒事も文句言わないでやるし。ほんと、うちは戸ざまでよかった。アキ、そういうのは戸ざまでもちゃんとやろうよ。
Okay, so daimyo, like, family orientation is really prominently, like, culturally relevant. Now, I'm sure it has been and probably still is to some extent, but, like, because they're in a super military compact right now, they've kind of fallen back on those traditional values. And it's really interesting to see, like, it playing out in such a traditional way, but in a modern setting.
まったくだわ。価格くくりで同類扱いされる私と島子の立場も考えてよ。
Also, by the way, like, I think the music is a little loud. Let's adjust that. Alright, let's see how that sounds.
一体何の話？
Nope. I think I need to make the voices a bit louder. Again, this would actually be really good to know. Like, if you notice a way I could balance it to make it better, just give me a heads up. I'll probably have a good idea of it after, like, editing this first episode, as always, but because each game's different and their settings can be different, it can be just nice to know, like, is the music drowning everything out? Am I coming through okay? Are they coming through okay? Is one of us too loud? It can be good to know that. So I'll play with it a little bit throughout the episode if I feel like it's not in balance, but most importantly, just let me know what you think.
あのさ、アキ、お願いだから私の自信の拠り所を奪わないで。
Oh, I think I might have seen part of the problem. Yeah, okay. I do also think I had one of my recording balances off, so yeah, I've got to fix that.
武家の矜持は別として、実際問題、私、軍でちゃんとやっていけるか、すごく不安なのよ。
Okay, so all of them are in the Royal Guard. So are like the bickerings or the things they're commenting on about like sub like hierarchies inside the actual Royal Guard? I didn't realize all of them were going to be Royal Guard members.
ああ、そういうことか。まあ、そりゃ確かに。難関の英士教練に選抜されたことだけが、やっていけそうって思える唯一の根拠なの。わかる？わかるよ、泉。戦車兵や機械化歩兵は悲惨だもんね。英士に選ばれてほんとよかったよね。
Oh, dodged, denied.
なんで逃げるんだよ。だから、全然良くないの。あんたも選ばれてる時点で、自信の拠り所が、おっぱみじんなんだから。
Oh, snap. Why, it's just throwing shade.
なんだそれ。なんで私がこっぱみじんなんだよ。ちょっと、アキ、泉も。それそれ、そういうところよ。やっぱり英士選抜って、部門の品位は考慮外なのね。
Calm down, Izumi. I mean, that's kind of harsh, like super harsh.
だったら泉、あんただって武家の娘らしくしなさいよね。あら、ご覧の通り私は男女交際は品位と節度をわきまえなさいよ。 せいぜいみだらな愛欲に流されないようにね。
Wait, what? When did this come into play? Like, what are you two talking about?
何言ってるのよ。私たちは別にそんな。
Oh, wait a minute. Must always respect the limits of propriety when acting. Okay, interesting.
もう二人ともほんと気楽でいいよね、武家のお嬢様方はさ。
Uh-oh.
朝からあんなはしゃいじゃってずいぶん楽しそうだよね、軍隊なのに。
So these are like just normal people that aren't part of the Royal Academy, the Royal Guard, huh?
違うよ、あそこってお嬢様兵隊教室なんだって。陸軍の兄貴が言ってた。へえ、軍隊は武家子女のたしなみってことそれじゃあ花嫁修行だよ。
And you gotta admit, though, this is really strange because, like, Japan really must be in a good position when they can be complaining about this kind of stuff.
アキ、声大きいって。みんな見てるから。ああ、ごめん。でもさ、泉が。
Uh-oh. Oh, we're getting the steely eyes from everyone. Oh, boy. I'm fine. I've grown numb to the contempt of others.
知ってるか？高村って本当は不代武家じゃないんだってよ。
Oh,
あい
good
つの今の
grief.
価格って汚いやり方で手に入れたらしいぞ。
Alright, you know what?
普段真面目腐って口うるさいくせに結局嘘つきだったのかよ。
Yeah, maybe Japan needed to be invaded by the beta because holy pettiness, holy crap. Okay, no, obviously, like, no one should be invaded by the beta, but good grief, these attitudes. No matter the scorn piled upon me from other samurai houses, I've always been able to endure. This is no different. Oh boy, Yui. Can we just go? Please?
あいつらなんだよ、あの言い草。平和にぶら下がってるだけのくせに。
But couldn't those girls say the same thing about us? We're taking peace for granted too. 2 weeks have passed since I enrolled at Yamayuri Girls Surface Pilot Academy. I was eager to learn an environment alongside others who upheld the values of the samurai class, a welcome contrast to the normal junior high school I attended before. Nevertheless, I can't shake the feeling we aren't living up to those lofty standards. And if I, a full-fledged member of the samurai class, feel this way, I cannot begin to imagine how it must appear to the common people. Both the public and the media hold us in contempt, even at the best of times.
こっちは武家ってだけで女も召集されてんだ。同じ高校生なのにさ。
Okay, so this is still the time period. The happy days of the beta invasion were only every male in the entire planet had to register for the military and actively serve in it. All the girls will be coming along soon.
でもあの子たち家族が大陸で戦ってるのかもしれないよ。わかってるよ、島子。だからって私たちのこと花嫁修行だの習い事だのって。私聞いたことあるんだ。帝国軍の訓練校じゃ私たちのことそう言って笑ってるって噂。なんだよバカにして。ただの学生のくせに。一体あいつら何様。ピリピリしてるんじゃないかな。
I agree. I think we all, like, the thing is that they have this, like, normal life going on here, but, like, we all know deep down it isn't real. That we, like, it's like, you're not gonna, like, it's not like people can be shocked to be like, what, there's a battle and war? It's like, it might seem far off, but I mean, think about even nowadays, like, I hear about conflicts going on right now, and it makes me nervous. Like, it's not me directly involved in any meaningful way, but besides, like, just the human connection, but, like, it still makes me feel uneasy, especially because I know things can escalate if, you know, things go really sideways really quickly. I've seen enough tragedy and enough attacks and enough things to hit close enough to home to make me realize that this peace we have can be pretty fragile if you really, really think about it. And so, yeah, I would argue that they're right. It's the people, including the common girls that they're talking about, who very likely are terrified. And they are expressing their fear that's really nebulous at this point, so they can't direct that energy toward much. So they just direct it towards, you know, what all kids direct it towards, which is people and things that are different.
今、未婚女子の徴兵年齢再引き下げが検討されているでしょ。だから。
Oh. So that would make sense. So I guess all women can be conscripted into the military, but that's only if they don't get married in time. But that must put a lot of pressure for a lot of people to just get hitched.
この絵は大陸派兵1回でやめちゃったし、私たちは任官しても本土配備だものね。
Yeah, that's true. That is a pretty significant privilege.
だから、帝国軍に徴兵されるあの子たちは大陸配属もあり得る。不公平だって思うでしょうね。同じ高校生なのに。そうは言っても、帝国軍の若年女子兵は事務方、せいぜい広報任務じゃない。
Are they though?
私たちは、もしベータが攻めてきたら、戦域の正面で戦うんだよ。あいつらが私たちをずるいって思うなら、お互い様だよ。
If the beta were to attack. No, if the beta came to Kyoto. No, they're gonna. This is ridiculous. What am I thinking?
Yui?
Panning shot. I need to get a hold of myself. Stressing about events that have yet to happen will only make everyone worry. I'm the one here born in the Fudai family. It falls upon me to lead by example.
ねえ、そろそろ行かない？
Let's just go. I need to change the subject and fast. A true leader doesn't wield their status as a hammer to bash the nails into position. Such heavy-handed methods would besmirch that name of House Takamura. No, lead by example and people will follow.
早く行かないと、装甲剣道部の朝稽古、間に合わなくなるよ。
I like that idea. The Armored Kendo Club. I saw like little miniature TSF blades before. I was guessing like, yeah, like what if the Kendo Club, they use like miniature versions of the TSF blades, and now it sounds like they actually might wear like micro TSF armor. I don't know, is that going to feel more like a cosplay type armor where it's just a person wearing like a suit that just kind of resembles it? Or are they wearing maybe traditional armor, but it's meant to be symbolic like a TSF suit? I don't know. I'm curious.
あ、そうだった。
Change gears.
せっかくいただいた見学の機会、遅れたら大変。だいたい今日はそのために早く集まったのに。まったく、泉が余計なこと言うからさ。また人のせいにして。あんたってほんと部門の風上にも置けないわ。
These two, Izumi and Aki.
なんだと？
They're gonna be interesting.
もう、飽きたら。私たちも行こう。
All right, so far so good. Oh, Yui's not happy.
ほんと、気楽でいいよね。武家のお嬢様方はさ。ずいぶん楽しそうだよね。軍隊なのに。
It's kind of funny because this is also echoing like how she always, even on like in her future, she gets treated and called a princess. I wonder if that all gets under her skin, but she's so used to it, she just doesn't even like consider it odd.
違うよ。あそこってお嬢様兵隊教室なんだって。
軍隊は武家子女のたしなみってこと？それじゃあ花嫁修行だよ。
These girls are entitled to their own opinions. Still, I can't deny most of the common folk probably look down on us. Duty is our birthright. From the moment we come into this world, we are fated to fight in the hosts of the royal guard and lay down our lives to the empire, if need be. In exchange, we enjoy a certain degree of privilege. However, the public interprets these perks as a result of blatant favoritism. Well, I mean, until you're attacked, it is favoritism. We're told that those who don't bear the burdens we do are our equals, and the media casts us as the keepers of an anachronistic caste system. It's unfair and it infuriates us, but the nobility and duties that we were born with keep us from ever voicing our frustrations in public. I'm sure those Royal Guard cadets who glared at us earlier are just as conscious of the realities of our position as we are. Each new insult cuts like a keenly sharpened blade, and so we die a death by 1,000 cuts.
なんかごめんね、ゆい。朝から。どうしたの急に。 なんていうか私ちゃんとやれなくて。
Shimako, you literally just kind of stood there. You were the only one who was behaving essentially rationally. Unless maybe she's worried that she should have spoken up earlier or something, because Yui kind of had to like try and get us moving and everything.
ちゃんとって別に。やだな。なんで島子が謝るの？さっきのは仕方がないことだよ。
Also, Shimako, so far, is channeling a very me spirit, a spirit of myself, because myself in school would have absolutely been apologizing. I would say, I'm sorry that other people whom I'm associated with did something that you might have found offensive. Often, it was never even thought of being offensive. Secondly, why was I apologizing for the actions of other people? It's something I did.
だって走行剣道の朝稽古が見たいって言ったのも、みんなで同じ部に入ろうって言い始めたのも私たちで。
I don't know. Makes a lot of sense, especially for a squad.
ユイはそれに付き合っただけなのに。
何言ってるの？部活そろそろ決めなきゃいけないんだし、走行剣道部は私も興味あったし。
私たちユイの部下なのに、さっきみたいなのってなんか自覚がないっていうか。
Shimako, as a prolific and habitual apologizer, you gotta stop this. It's fine.
やだな。部下だなんて教練上の仮編成じゃない。気にしてないよ。
でもそのせいで
島子？
だってユイは普代部家の、しかも次期当主なのに、戸様の私たちがあんなことに巻き込んで。
Okay, so I guess I'm not as familiar. Maybe it's referencing very specific actual families that actually served the emperor leading up until like the end of World War II. Maybe not as formally and as it was in previous time periods, but Tozama and Fudai, like apparently, like it's like families but ranked families, and I guess I just don't know the system. I'm sure it would make sense to somebody who's more familiar with Japanese history, and I'm sure that if I wasn't too terrified of spoilers, I bet there's a great chart somewhere on the wiki. Oh, so that's what's on her mind. Well, Shimako cares a great deal about the inner workings of nobility. In particular, Shimako is very concerned with upholding the hierarchy among noble houses, something rather unusual for a modern woman, both from a Tozama family. Perhaps House Kai is strict when it comes to tradition. That also might explain why Shimako has such a graceful and modest character. But even if that's the case...
ねえ、島子。私たち同じ候補生でしょ？だから今はそういうのなしだよ。
ユイ。
それにさっきみたいなのって私たちにはどうにもできないことだよ。だったら今は目の前のやるべきことをやるしかないじゃない。
目の前のやるべきこと。
I mean, it's good advice. Focus on what lies ahead.
そう。私たちが一日でも早く一人前の英士になって、自らの行動でこの絵軍の印象を変えていくしかないよ。
ユイの言う通りだね。私たちが変えなきゃいけないんだよね。
それにさ、こうして投稿できるのも今のうちだし、どんなことでも勉強だと思えばいいんじゃない？
そういえばそうだね。基礎訓練が終われば寮生活だし。
In her eyes, Shimako has failed me. I need to change the subject, or else she would only keep blaming herself.
寮生活か。いろいろ窮屈にはなるんだろうけど、それはそれで楽しみだな。
She's adorable. I like the bow too.
楽しみって？
だっていつもみんなと一緒にいられるし、もしかしたら、ユイと同じ部屋になるかもしれないでしょ。
Oh, okay, Shimako. I think I see what you're going to. Maybe she's the self-insert for all of us, because all of us are like, we see Yui and we're like, yeah, Yui's pretty cute.
そうだね。
Who knows? Maybe that will happen. It's a curious thing. Of all my fellow classmates, despite the myriad of personalities on display, I can only feel truly comfortable when I'm around Shimako. That must be because we share similar views towards samurai tradition. We are all equals during our time with Training Academy, regardless of our family status, and House Takamura has strict norms against abusing our prestige, and this has never been a problem from the start. Izumi and Aki's behavior might be completely at odds with the expectations of a member of a samurai family, but I'm honestly grateful they treat me like one of their own without hesitation. However, the Royal Guard as a whole is different. While individual abilities matter a great deal, the rank of one's family, in particular where you stand in comparison to other houses that can ascend to the shogunate, is of equal importance. Gotcha. Okay, so the different families have different likelihoods of being members who will inherit the shogun title. Okay, that makes more sense then. Again, it's like a royal family, and the idea of there's a king, and then there's dukes and barons, and the closer in relation you are directly, the more likely you could hold that ultimate high position or inherit that high position, and thus you have a higher status by default. Very similar setup there. And so that means that Takamura is probably decently close to the top then, because she's always been given a lot of respect and deference, and she has the yellow Takamakazuchi, which the colors matter. I feel like there was a chart I saw. I think purple is literally the shogun royal family. I think red or yellow is pretty close up there as well. I know red for sure is at least chief royal guard duty, and then I think blue typically is the more common one, but I'm not sure about that. And then because I saw a blue Takamakazuchi that had essentially the heir to the empire, and then with the black Takamakazuchi is the base model, which is one that could, no, the white is the base model, the black is the non-royal guard allocation of a Takamakazuchi, which is very rare. The samurai's rightful place lies within the vanguard, exemplifying leadership through noble deeds. Exalted office demands eminent virtue. Such words embody the traditional values of the samurai class, and the royal guard follows them to the letter. The most esteemed one's position is, the greater the responsibilities they must bear. Needless to say, the rules don't cease to apply when your counterpart is a commoner. Regardless of your family status, one must always strive to be an example to the rest of society, such is the fate of those born as a samurai. That's what I believed. That's what father and mother have taught me all these years, so naturally I assumed that's how all samurai would carry themselves. However, experience has taught me that there's a wide gulf between theory and practice. The lower the status of your family, the more this sense of duty and obligation weakens. I've seen this myself more times than I could count with my classmates in elementary and junior high. It seems to be most common among those who've decided to not join the military. At some point, I decided to look the other way. Tolerating such a temporary relaxation of discipline seems like a natural choice. What's the harm, since not every samurai is bound to join the Royal Guard? That's what I used to believe, but much to my displeasure, I was wrong. Even those who were willingly serve seem to lack a proper awareness of their role. Among those who enlist, many have older siblings. Practically all of those low in the order of succession by reason of birth have only a faint awareness of what their born duty entails. No, these people are passive, lacking in any drive. All too often, they're aimless. A great majority of people like Aki and Izumi, drifting through life is what's considered normal. My expectations of Yamayuri Girls Academy had fallen woefully short. I was hoping that a military academy would be stricter than compulsory education in terms of discipline. That was not to be, however. It was more shocking was discovering the things I believed to be common sense were simply my own misunderstandings. Here, everyone is different from me, or perhaps it would be more adequate to say I'm different from everybody. A female heir taking over a samurai house is rare enough in and of itself, especially when she doesn't have an older brother who gave his life for the country. However, I have long since accepted my fate, and I do not allow it to trouble me. Hey, Yui, I got some news for you. Turns out you have one. Yet I must admit, no matter how much I try to reassure myself, unbearable doubts build in my heart with each passing day. I could remedy the sense of isolation with only a word, but I refuse to use my family status to bludgeon my ideals into those around me. Doing so would bring disgrace to the Takamura name. It's precisely because I was born into House Takamura that I must lead by example, deeds, not words. For if I were to abuse my authority, it would be the same as those who have tarnished House Takamura with their baseless slander. Shimako's still in her la-la land of, fun time.
なんでずっと見てるのかなって。 あ、ごめん。ちょっと考え事。
Oh, of course.
やだ。おー、桜吹雪。気持ちいい。あー、前髪が。あ、この音。もう、これだから春は。ゆい、ほら、
You don't like spring? Spring's the like the second best like season. Ah, TSFs. Zuikakus. Oh, there they are. Oh, look at them.
嵐山基地のこの絵軍部隊だ。ひょー、かっこいい。綺麗。8人式髄核。端正なること折り鶴が如しとは、昔のお偉いさんはうまいこと言ったものね。
Type 82. So is it Zuikaku's the predecessor to the Takamura Yui? Because there's definitely like a narrative constructive language that they share.
確かに、あのシャープなフォルム、帝国軍の激震がベースとは思えないよね。同じ第一世代機でも、向こうは重装甲、こっちは格闘戦を重視した運動性向上型だもの。
Also, they're first generation. Interesting. So second generation machines are just around the corner.
お、昨日並走回廊の座学でやったとこだ。じゃあ問題。8人式の機種名、髄核はどういう意味？
髄長の体格。めでたい前触れをもたらすツールでしょ。
おお、正解。真面目にやってるじゃん、島子。帝国初の国産機にして、近衛軍専用、極地防衛用戦術機、8人式戦術歩行戦闘機、髄核。
This is a pretty good picture here. I don't like just having all three of them.
すごいよね、ユイのお父様は。あんなすごい機体を作っちゃうんだから。
Like, I definitely didn't forget, but it's kind of fun to hear the confirmation that like her dad is like he's the prominent designer for TSFs. Like that's why he was brought in on the project to help develop the Black Widow. That's why he's part of the project that's likely developing the Takamura Yui itself. That's why Yui is a designer too.
私たちユイのお父様にはお世話になりっぱなしだね。
The 74 melee blade. There they are. Okay. Lesson learned. Sound effects. Well, like, turn them down a bit. I feel like it was exceptionally loud on purpose there, but that was loud. Thank you, Zuikaku. I was overcome by hesitation, but you showed me just the right time. Almost a reminder to come back to my senses. I'm sorry, Father. Please grant me a little more time. I promise you will see me wearing the Railguard Surface Pilot uniform. With your Zuikaku in my armor, I shall dash through the battlefield, proving myself worthy of defending the Empire. Everyone will be forced to recognize I deserve to become the head of House Takamura.
ああ、まただよ。うっとりした目で見つめちゃって。
Yeah, that does seem to be especially prominent of the young Yui, but she also did it when she was older.
こうなっちゃうとユイ、なかなか帰ってこないからね。
仕方ないよ。ユイはお父様を心から尊敬しているんだから。
There's that constant like shh in the background. Several hours later. Second lecture hall. Yamayuri Girls Surface Pilot Academy.
8分
Oh. 8 minutes. The 8 minutes of death. Look at the veins on his hand. Holy cow.
それが実戦配属された新任兵士の初陣における平均生存時間だ。
It's been a while since we've heard about the 8 minutes. But that's terrifying.
貴様たちはこの死の8分を乗り越えて初めて一発の兵士として帝国にそして人類に貢献する機会を得る。いいか、もう一度言っておく。貴様たちの敵は人類が初めて遭遇した異星起源種だ。奴らにはあらゆる言語もルールも通じない。その行動原理、侵略目的、その一切が未だ不明である。すなわち この戦争は人類とベータ、そのいずれかが絶滅するまで終わることはない。
I like that description. A war of annihilation. It's like we could also call it total war or full war, but war of annihilation I like the most because it's literally like it's us or them. One of us is extinct by the end of this.
ねえねえ、今日はどうする？よかったら伊勢丹行かない？ちょっと探したいものがあってさ。
Aki, shh. This is an important lecture.
また？ごめん、今日はパスしていい？京都駅まで出る元気ない。
Interesting. They butt heads, but Izumi and Aki are clearly like really close.
なんだよ。彼氏のお迎えなら毎日でも行くくせに。そんなの当然じゃない。まあとにかく今日はかなり寝不足だから勘弁してよ。
So Zumi's very much on the like relationship. She's got the hunger.
ああ、また長電話しちゃったのか？
Oh, she might have a significant other.
まあね。その上朝練の見学で早起きしたし、今晩も話す約束だからさ。
Save your strength?
温存したくって。
What kind of conversation? What kind of phone calls are you having?
ちょっと二人ともやめなんだよ、青春しちゃってさ。友情より彼氏取るのかよ。そんなんじゃないから。もう子供みたいなこと言わないでよ。
Okay. I thought you stopped talking.
今なんで胸見た？子供ってことか？子供ってことか！もう怒られるわよ。実は彼の部隊、来週九州へ移動することになったんだって。博多に新設された陸軍基地らしいんだけど。
Okay. Yeah, that doesn't sound good.
博多か。対馬の海峡防衛線を支える帝国軍の最重要拠点だし、本来の出番なんてないだろうに。なんで基地なんか作ってんだろう。
I wonder, because I think before the attack on mainland Japan, I think don't they have the attack on it's the island, the island that the Operation 21st happens on. I know I should know it. It's not coming to me right now, but like, doesn't that happen beforehand? Is that Hakata? I feel like that was the city that was there. So I wonder if that means like he's being deployed there because the Tsushima Strait is like the narrowest portion of the Sea of Japan between Korea and Japan, and it's not even like proper mainland Japan, but the island, which is the first place to really fall, if I recall. They even put a hive there, which is what Operation 21st was about.
そんなの私たちにわかるわけないよ。まあとにかくそういう事情で急に一時帰宅許可が出たんだって。でも昼間は会えないからさ。普段電話できない分つい長くなっちゃうのよ。
I was actually gonna say, I kind of like missed the opportunity, but I imagine relationships are really tricky because royalty and royal like lines are so important in this culture right now. So I imagine part of the reason why they probably have an all-girls academy is to try and like help the families feel confident that their daughters and their sons aren't going to just gallivant with each other and like just cause a political mess by, you know, getting like falling in love or, you know, falling into love the family way. But so you gotta remember too, like, so these girls, I imagine that they are like, if this is a high school, they're like just entered high school. Like, they must be really young, like 15 or something, right? And she's got a boyfriend, and the boyfriend's in active duty. That probably means he's probably much older. He's probably maybe the youngest 17, but I'm guessing he's probably more like 19, 20. And again, it's one of those issues where it's like, that seems really weird, but Japan's got different rules, and in this time period, especially this universe, the rules might be much more flexible. And then especially when it comes to Royal Guard, they might be having essentially an arranged potential marriage. So they just kind of got introduced to each other as, hey, you guys are probably going to get married. And so they're kind of just cultivating a relationship, which is a really odd but very realistic to historical arranged marriages type of way to do things.
じゃあもうすぐ遠距離交際だ。そりゃ毎日長電話もするわ。今から練習しとかないと。 別に練習ってわけじゃないよ。お互いなんとなく不安なだけ。
Oh.
最近どこも慌ただしいんだって。
Okay.
大丈夫だよ。九州は去年全島疎開令が出てるんだから、変な女がつくこともないし。
So they're dating, but it also sounds like they're very loosely dating. Again, it sounds more like an arranged thing.
あなたたち、今は講義中よ。ちゃんと集中して。
I'm with Yui on this one.
何言ってんだよ、ユイ。泉の恋が崩壊の危機に直面してんだよ。
We're learning about one of the most important aspects of battle. Please.
なんでそうなるのよ。
He's enough already.
席次番号19番
Uh-oh.
はい、教官殿。あっつー。
高村か。
Great.
ほう。
She literally was trying to get her to shut up, and he calls her out.
高村候補生。不代の名門でに平民である俺の講義はいささか退屈すぎたか？あ？聞く価値はないと？
Poor Yui.
いえ、教官殿。
だったら続きを言ってみろ。当然、俺の質問も聞いてくれていたのだろう？
は、教官殿。
バカ者！貴様が口にしていいのは、はい、いいえ、教官殿、質問の答え。この。
ごめん、ユイ。
Being of the extraterrestrial origin, which is adversary of human race.
Oh. A challenger approaches. Yamashiro-san. And why was she speaking in English, though?
人類に敵対的な異星起源種という国連呼称です。
貴様。山城上総候補生。貴様、許可なく発言するとはいい度胸だな。
Oh, wait, that name. Yamashiro Kazusa. Kazusa. Why does that sound familiar? Like, that name sounds familiar.
いいえ、度胸の問題ではありません。合理性と効率の問題です、教官殿。
Yamashiro. Oh gosh, wait. Like, okay, so there's the guy that we saw in The Day After, who is like Yuhi's, I think, betrothed? Or, well, Yui's betrothed, like essentially he's kind of like the royal guard member that's going to marry the shogun and essentially inherit like the empire like title. And if that and I feel like it was his last name Yamashiro, like is she related to him or am I just completely bananas here?
なんだと？
Oh.
発言を許可する。説明しろ。
は、私たちに与えられた時間は限られています。1秒でも無駄にしたくありません。したがって、訓練部隊全体の利と互助精神の両立を図りました。以上です。
That is a pretty cheeky response. I'd be, if I were the instructor, I'd be calling BS on that, but he also might see the value of trying to say like, fair enough. The way she thinks, maybe Yamashiro-san is a kindred spirit. No, she's very upset with you though. And the way she's always glares at me.
全体利益と互助とは恐れ入った。よし。では存分に助け合ってもらおう。
Oh no.
高村並びに山城！貴様らの正体は本日の全教練終了後、グラウンド20周！
Right.
はい、教官殿。
Hey, it's your fault. You absolutely deserve this.
連帯責任だ。わかったか、バカ者ども！
Ironically, it's actually a perfect example of this because Yui wasn't the one at fault at all. She was trying to get them to shut up. But they, yeah.
はい、教官殿！
Yes, sir.
全員座れ！講義を続ける。
Several minutes later. All right. Courtyard. So, run time. Hey, that didn't look like running time. It looks like lunch picnic time. Wow, this place is nice.
なんか嫌な感じだよな。
Hey, takes one to know one. Not really. Aki seems interesting, but she also definitely seems like she'd be giving me major headaches if I were at the academy. Hey, I wouldn't be at this academy. I'd be dead probably, but that's fun anyway. Thank you so much. I think we're gonna end it here. Interesting introduction. I definitely wanted to make sure this was a decently long episode because it's introducing a lot of like interesting and narrative points. I'm not too sure, like, other than knowing what's happening in the future just by understanding, you know, history of this world, it's an interesting place to try and tell a story because it's not being shy about, like, you know, echoing and kind of anticipating the horrors that are on the horizon. But it is interesting to really take a look at this time of Japan. It's so different in feel and tone to like the Japan we see in Unlimited and Alternative, because like the impending beta invasion on Japanese soil is so insane and so destructive. Like, it's really gonna turn this entire universe upside down for him. And so it's really interesting to see, like, I wonder if that's what the story's really ultimately about. It's about watching this, like, complete upheaval of the status quo and the birth of the Japan that we became familiar with. So, yeah, very exciting, very cool. Also, gotta admit, the animation quality, the art direction, the music so far, it's all pretty top-notch in pretty much every respect. I'm very excited about this. I think this is gonna be a fun one just because it's surprising me, and that's always a good sign when the game is really going to kind of grab me so much and immediately pull me into the universe. Very, very cool. Again, it just has a very modern feel to it. Very appreciative of that, and yeah. I mean, it is the most recent publication, but I also feel like it was, like most of these games that we've been watching and reading have been games that have been coming out over the past, you know, like essentially decade that are then just being kind of retranslated and re-released. But this feels like it was made relatively recently, which I just don't know. Again, I'm sure it's pretty easy to find, but I avoid spoilers so actively and aggressively. It means that really basic information I could easily just Google is not really something I'm willing to look for most of the time because I don't want to accidentally spoil an event that'll happen in the future. While this might be a tough one to spoil considering I know where the ultimate like destination is, it's still... the journey's what matters, right? I'm still gonna enjoy this. But anyway, thank you so much for joining me on another trip through Muv-Luv. Muv-Luv never ends. It's gonna be great. I'm very, very happy with this, and I'm very happy to see where this goes. I think that there is a lot to be said about this, and I think we're going to be seeing some interesting character development, especially because, like most alternative timelines, I'm gonna assume that pretty much anybody who we see on this screen is just, they're on the chopping block of time. I think it's pretty much an inevitability. It implied that early on, but even so, it's like, ooh, this is gonna be brutal before the end, so I hope we buckle up for that. But hopefully you'll be willing to join me for it. If you haven't played this game, I advise you go and play it yourself. Get your own first impressions, get your own interpretations and inspiration from the game. Help support the developers and help them, you know we want more games, we want more content, we want to see this franchise continue and maybe see new stories and explorations in not only this universe, but maybe other places. If their writers can be this good, I'd love to see other ideas and IPs that they might want to work on. Like maybe some of the writers who are passionate about Muv-Luv have other passions and other content they want to share, and I'd love to see what they can come up with because they're cooking. Anytime all these games have just been masterpieces, really. So anyway, thank you so much, and especially thank you to those of you who chose to support me directly, the patrons and members on the channel membership. You are amazing. I don't deserve you. I'm going to strive to do my best to make content as actively and aggressively as I can and as consistently as possible. And I've got some interesting stuff going on. I'm going to be continuing the Baldur's Gate 3 full run, which is going to be odd because it's a lot more aggressive and heavy with editing. And I'm already running into some like roadblocks with that. So until I really streamline that, it's going to be kind of a nightmare. And so I'm hoping I can be consistent with it. But frankly, I'll be surprised if I can do... if I could do a video, an episode a week of that one. I might tentatively try and pitch the idea of doing maybe once every 2 weeks rather than once a week, just so I have a little breathing room for that series, but we'll get to that later. Otherwise, I'm doing some other great series. Rewrite is currently active on the channel on Wednesdays. I'm also doing the Fruit of Grisaya on Fridays, which has been great. That was That was a selection of the community. I believe that was the one that was selected. One of those two, I can't remember now. It's been too long. They both have been going for a while. But yeah, if you have patrons and members, get to vote on some of the titles we do. The Tuesday slots after the Baldur's Gate 3 is done, they'll get to choose the next game there. They'll also get to choose the next game, one of the Friday visual novel slot. Otherwise, anyone who's supporting the channel directly, I'm always open to suggestions. There's a good Discord you can go join, and you can leave like suggestions for games you want to see me play and cover on the channel. You can also just join casual discussions. You can find me and interact with me pretty easily there. I'm active on it off and on throughout the day. It's probably the easiest way for me to interact with everyone, so it's a good place to go. I also try and respond to every comment, so please feel free to leave something. There's a good chance I'll see it and respond and kind of answer. So it's a really good way to like talk. One of the best perks about having a channel that's this size is we have a great community, but we also are small enough that I really get to be kind of on the ground and talking with everybody, which is something you don't get to have with a lot of the bigger, more popular creators. Like, it'd be really cool. I imagine that people like my heroes, like Many True Nerd, RT Game, Spiffing Brit, Pongzifu, I think they'd be really, really fun to be able to make content with, but that's the thing, is like, that's never gonna happen, or if it does, it's not until I actually become that level of successful. So, like, that's one of the perks, I think, of being in a bit of a smaller, tight-knit community, and we also get to cover games that a lot of channels just don't make time for. So, yeah, I hope you'll stick around. Hopefully we'll be able to share this journey together, and hopefully we'll be able to share many more. So until the next video watching me, or see me next, I'll see you there.